Hello everybody, welcome to this week's Dvar Torah. We know that Jews like their food. In fact, Irving Epstein had to go to his doctor. And the doctor said, you've really put on weight. It's all this cholent and kishka and kugel that you're eating. He said, the best thing you could do is really just take a break from all that type of food. And Irving said, what's the second best thing I could do? And yet we find that when the Jews went through the desert for 40 years, they never had to worry about food. They received manna from heaven. And we're told it could taste of whatever you wanted. If you imagine pizza, it tastes of pizza. If you imagine shawarma, it tastes of shawarma. A beef steak, a vegetarian meal, whatever you wanted it to taste like, with certain exceptions, it could taste like. So one would think that was wonderful. And yet the Jewish people complained. Some of them were fed up. Same food every day. And they wanted meat. They wanted real meat. And they said, we remember in Egypt when we had real food, not this seed-like substance. And the question is, they had them on. Why did they complain? They were never hungry. What was so bad? What was really, really troubling them? And the rabbis explain that the man was a spiritual food given directly from God. But it would arrive according to a person's spiritual level. If a person was righteous, if a person was holy and had been occupied doing mitzvahs, doing the right things, learning Torah, his mon would arrive prepared at his doorstep. Those on a lesser level, their mon would arrive slightly further away, and they would have to do more to prepare it. And the wicked had to go on a long search every morning to find their mon deposited somewhere in the camp. And this put a pressure on people. It was a case of big brother. If you couldn't find your mon, it was a clear sign to everybody that you hadn't been behaving very well. And people didn't like this pressure. What they really wanted was freedom. What they wanted was freedom from the yoke, from the peer pressure, from the big brother, from being watched, from Hashem deciding, Hashem ensuring that they would have to behave themselves. And Hashem said, fine, if you want meat, you can have meat. He sent them the slav, the quail, huge amounts, and they ate it. And those who ate it until it made themselves physically sick, and the plague wiped them out. And the message is, of course, that although it's sometimes difficult to be an Eved, to be a servant of Hashem, a servant is a servant at all times, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just like a doctor on a plane, if somebody goes into cardiac arrest, can't just say, well, I'm on holiday now. I'm on the way to Israel. I'm on the way to Spain. Leave me alone. Of course, a doctor would be expected to help. In the same way, a Jew is an Eved, we're servants. We are expected and required to follow Hashem. And sometimes it can feel like life's too difficult. It's hard to be doing the right thing all the time. But the message of the Mon was that when we try to release ourselves, to do what we call prikas ol, to take off ourselves the yoke of heaven, then disaster follows. And of course we've seen that in our own times. Since the enlightenment of the 1800s and onwards, as the yoke of heaven has come off in so many places, the religion has disappeared with it, and eventually in many, many places which once had thriving Jewish communities, there is almost nothing left. Only those who maintain their connection with Yiddishkeit and with the Torah survive. And if we want to be among the survivors, we have to, even in these difficult times, remain strong, remain committed. Wish you all a good Shabbos.